All right, guys, it's Tuesday night. We have waited till Tuesday night to come see Captain Marvel. We will. I'll talk more about it after we see it. It's gonna start here in just a little bit. Probably gonna be a spoiler review. But I will be back once the movie's over. All right, guys. Hello. We just got done watching Captain Marvel. Look, there she is. We're outside the theater. However, it is 1 in the morning because we came and saw a late one on Tuesday night. It's now Wednesday morning, so we are going to cut it off here. I'll continue my review in the morning. It's going to be super spoilery, and despite what a lot of people said, I actually thought it was a good movie. Did everybody else think it was a good movie?
Yes. Yes, we liked it.
All right, good. So yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna stop here. I will pick it up in the morning. See you all then. All right, guys, good morning. It's now Wednesday morning. Endgame is coming soon. Late showings tomorrow night. Opening night is actually Friday. I've got tickets for Saturday night in an attempt to get caught up. We've seen every other movie, so we decided, for no particular reason, there's no reason we had been putting it off, we just have. We went last night and saw Captain Marvel, as you saw in my intro. Went to the 10:30 showing, got out by the time it was over, and we stayed for the credits and got out. It was about 1. And as I said in the trailer, as I said in the preview, no, not the preview, as I said in the intro, man, I'm sleepy because by the time we got home and got to bed, it was 2, got up at 6 to get everybody out the door this morning, so a little sleepy. As I said in the intro, I did actually really like it. So for a review of it, I'm going to keep it pretty short this time. I'm going to give you my good, I'm going to give you my bad, and I'm going to give you my stuff that I was, okay with. Maybe it could have been done differently. So let's start with the good stuff. Actually, the first good thing about it, going to see it, was they showed the Endgame trailer at the beginning, and it's that one Endgame trailer where it's, it starts out with Iron Man. It seems like 1,000 years since I climbed out of the desert, and then it's the Peggy voiceover, and then that scene where it cuts from Peggy's funeral to Asgard, where the music like shoots up. That thing gets me every time, and I will admit there was a little bit of misty eye going on at that part. But I had seen the trailer on my computer. I'd seen it, watching it on YouTube, on the TV in the living room. I had not got a chance to see it on the big screen, so I was really glad to see that. Another thing I liked about the Captain Marvel movie, there was a lot of good action in it. The train scene, the chase on the train, that was good. We got to see some early Nick Fury, driving. He crashed another car, so like Winter Soldier, where we see him tear up a bunch of other cars and tear up his own car. We got to see that. Let's see what else. Oh, the fight scene after she'd been captured by the Skrull. The fight scene where she escapes and she is just tearing through the ship, beating these guys up. That was pretty good. The Skrull storyline. Now I'm not all the way up to date on the actual Skrull presence in the Marvel universe. I know they are actually supposed to be like these huge bad guys who, just like it talked about in Captain Marvel, they infiltrate, they take the place of people. I know there's some storylines in some other Marvel comics where they have replaced Avengers, they've replaced government officials. But I really kind of liked how they did this. It just, instead of them, at least for this particular group, instead of them being these universal baddies who were here to conquer and take over, they were just this group of people this group of families who were just trying to find a place where they could live their lives in peace, where they weren't constantly being hunted down and chased down by the Kree, who just really seemed to have it out for them. They just wanted to wipe the Skrull. They didn't even want to conquer them. They just wanted to destroy them completely. At the end of the movie, where she takes them and the ship with the families and goes off to find them their place, I was good with that, liked that. I really liked some of the connections to other people that we've seen in other movies. So I liked seeing, and I'm gonna step all over myself because I can't remember his name, with one guy from Guardians of the Galaxy who showed up and captured Star-Lord right at the beginning when he was in the place getting the orb. I liked seeing him, like seeing a little more of his backstory. I feel like in Guardians of the Galaxy, he was just almost like a throwaway character, but we got to see, he came up as a Kree warrior. Probably interesting story about how he ended up from that to going off with Ronan. I was glad to see Ronan. Interesting to me that his accuser title is not just his name. He's just not Ronan the Accuser. He's Ronan, and Accuser is like his rank or his position, because apparently those guys that fly the big ships that bomb the crap out of the planets are they're accusers. And lots of little things through the movie that I did like. I did like the Avengers connected mid-credit scene. So I liked seeing, this was the first time, even in all the trailers I've seen, all the spots I've seen, we've seen, sad Avengers, depressed Avengers that, the snap happened and people are gone. But this was the first time that we've seen like numbers. And numbers really make what happens stand out. When you're watching that number, those numbers go higher and higher, and they're in the millions. And there's a number here, and a number here, and a number here for all over the world, and they're just multiple millions of people. And you realize it's the number of people who are missing, who have vanished because of the snap. It's now a little while after the snap because they've had time to round up Nick's Captain Marvel pager that we saw at the end of Infinity War. They've taken it back to Avengers headquarters. They've apparently set it off themselves more times. They've had to boost up the battery because I guess the battery's going dead, so that makes me think this is a little while after. And they're just really kind of freaking out. Cap's like, oh man, he's watching those numbers go higher and higher, and he's just like, this is a disaster. So maybe it's bad that one of the things I liked about Captain Marvel, two of the things I liked were about Endgame and had nothing to do with Captain Marvel. But had not gone to see Captain Marvel, would not have got to see those. So on to the bad things. As much as I've heard everybody say they loved it, I really did not like the cat or the cat storyline. Had it just remained a cat, well, we get to see the soft side of Nick Fury, which I'm going to get to in a minute. That would have been fine. Goose, great, great callback to Top Gun. But the fact that they made it an alien, and when they needed some bad guys wiped out, it just all of a sudden, it eats, the 4 or 5 full-grown people without, anything. And the fact that, what are we going to do with the Tesseract? I'm not carrying it. Cat sucks it up, and then, okay. Didn't like the cat character. Maybe the cat's in the comic book. Again, I'm not completely familiar with the Captain Marvel storyline. Yeah, Cat just seemed like, hey, we need one more alien. We've seen the Skrull. We haven't seen really a whole lot of aliens. Not like in Guardians of the Galaxy, where we see all the crazy aliens, especially in the second one. So the cat was just like, let's just put the cat there, and we'll have it, pick up some slack. When we need some bad guys taken out, we'll do that. Kind of funny, the end of credit clip where the cat's on Nick's desk and it coughs up the Tesseract like it's coughing up a hairball. And going from the cat to Nick's eyes storyline. I was fine with the explanation in Winter Soldier where he said, yeah, I lost my eye because I trusted somebody. I ended up losing my eye because of it. And I was fine when we saw in the trailers and the early part of the movie where he still had his eye. And there were a couple of jokes through the movie. He got an injury near his eye. How's your eye? It's okay. I knew that in this movie we were going to see how Nick lost his eye. The fact that, alien cat creature who he had been loving and petting and had been helping him through the whole movie suddenly turns around and scratches his eye out, and that's how he loses his eye. Didn't like that. I was really hoping, fine, he trusted Captain Marvel and he got hurt. Then he didn't trust her, but by the end of the movie he trusted her again. That would have been a much better storyline. Or maybe the Kree capture him and do something, and she says, you'll be fine, and they end up, doing that to his eye. Really wanted more of a story. Now, I did kind of like how Coulson came in toward the end and said, is it true that your eye was zapped by the Kree because you wouldn't tell them what you knew? If that had been the actual thing that happened to his eye, fine. And I kind of get that now there's just, in the backstory, some stuff we'll never see. There's going to be all these stories about here's how Nick lost his eye, or no, here's how Nick lost his eye. And it's just going to add to the the myth of Nick Fury, that all these crazy things are what happened to his eye, but what really happened was the cat. That was a little bit of a let down. And then I get it. He can't possibly have always been black leather trench coat, black eye patch, Nick Fury that we saw in all the other movies. At some point, there had to have been something that made him that way. But seeing nice Nick Fury was just, and like I said, we gotta see, maybe we need to see his backstory. We don't always have to see every detail of everybody's backstory. But yeah, nice Nick Fury was a little, and he did seem to have some of that edge, that he shows a lot of going forward. Yeah, nice Nick Fury was a little too much. Oh, and I gotta check the timeline, because we know that from Winter Soldier, Pierce is talking to Captain America, I think, about how he met Nick Fury, some of Nick Fury's backstory. So we know at some point Nick is going to be in charge of an embassy or a SHIELD station, and he's going to defy orders, he's going to lead a group in to save the people who were captured. I would have to check the timeline. I'm not sure if that comes, I'm guessing it has to come after this. I can't remember the date Pierce said, but so maybe the events of this movie turned him into that Nick Fury who was able to break orders and go off on his own, because maybe Captain Marvel showed him, sometimes you got to break orders and do what's right. But I think, he told her in the movie, you got to follow your gut, and sometimes that's hard when you've been trained to follow orders. So didn't really need to see that he was nice. If he had been the same Nick Fury we had always seen, I would have been fine with that. The cat, and this Nick Fury, nice Nick Fury, Nick Fury's eye, cat, all kind of combined into a big thing I didn't like about the movie. When he was, all the time he spent playing with the cat, talking, cutesy to the cat. But those are some things I didn't like. The meh things, take them or leave them. Heard a lot of talk about her unemotionalness, especially at the beginning, because, by the end of the movie, she's clearly got her emotions. She's laughing, she's crying. I was okay with it. I mean, I understand, because when she woke up on Hala, she didn't know who she was, she didn't have any memories, and she went right into training, and was trained for all of those 6 years. Hide your emotions, don't let your emotions get the better of you, keep them in check. I can see why she was the way she was, and she was better by the end. So it's kind of a thing, not really a thing. So the de-aging of Samuel L. Jackson was good, and Clark Gregg, it was good. It was better on him than on Samuel L. Jackson. Sometimes watching scenes of Samuel L. Jackson, he didn't quite look like Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, there were times where it kind of faded in, faded out. I mean, he did look young the whole time, but there were just times where, you'd recognize the voice, but looking right at his face, I was like, that doesn't quite look like him. And I know he's supposed to be younger, so of course when he was younger, 20, 30 years prior to the other times we've seen him, you're going to look different. But, I mean, he looked, at points, it just seemed like he was so different that you really had to look to tell that it was him. But the de-aging was good, so I was good with that. So that's my meh things. Overall, a good movie. Was it my favorite Marvel movie? No. Is it my least favorite Marvel movie? No. It's probably 5 or 6 from the bottom. There were 5 or 6 that I liked less and would I watch this one over and over? Yeah, if it comes to Netflix or if it's on the Disney streaming later this year, which I'm probably going to get. Will I watch it over and over? Maybe not over and over. I mean, Winter Soldier I watch over and over and over. Infinity War is on Netflix right now. I've been watching it over and over. Captain Marvel I would probably watch again just to see what I missed. Probably not at the theater. I'll wait for DVD or Netflix or whatever. But there are movies that, unless it's part of like a marathon watch through, there are MCU movies that I don't have any plans on watching again, and Captain Marvel's not one of those. So, fair movie, good movie. I actually enjoyed it, even after all the bad things I'd heard. So yeah, it's, like I say, it's Wednesday morning, Endgame is coming, tickets Saturday night. Now I'm all ready. And as always, if you like what you see, please subscribe. If you like what you see, click like and share it with your friends. If you have any comments, any suggestions, please let me know what you thought of Captain Marvel. What were the things you liked and didn't like? And I will get back to you as soon as I can. And until next time, this has been Nerd Dad 5000. I will see you later.